Well, it just goes to show that if you give President Trump a chance, he'd charm the socks off of you. Now, that's apparently what happened with the infamous anti-Trump comedian Bill Maher, as he reported that Trump was gracious and measured at the dinner at the White House. And let me tell you guys, liberals just can't handle it. Or at least as Maher put it, millions of liberal sphincters just tighten. They just can't believe it that Bill Maher was able to say all these nice things about his meeting with the president. Because according to the comedian, everything he's not liked about Trump was absent, at least on this night with this guy. He even mentioned how he voted for Clinton and Obama, but he said that he would never feel as comfortable talking to them the way he was able to talk with Donald Trump. Sure, Bill Maher says that he's still not MAGA, but he definitely saw the president in another light that night, and that's definitely converted quite a few people to the cause in and of itself. You know what I mean? Because what will be the alternative? The liberals who have nothing but hate for everything, but most especially Trump and Elon Musk? I mean, one Musk hater even took it upon himself to leave a brick with a swastika on a Tesla Cybertruck that she vandalized in a predominantly Jewish area of Brooklyn. And yes, we got the clip for that too, right alongside with the latest footage of AOC and Jasmine Crockett showing their true colors, their hateful selves, and most importantly, their hypocrisy. Meanwhile, the Trump administration is on a roll. In fact, the Trump administration just revoked the parole of thousands of immigrants who they have found to have criminal records or be on the FBI's terrorist screening center watch list. Because according to the senior White House official who revealed this, among the 6.3 thousand paroled aliens with criminal or terrorist records, 905 were collecting Medicaid, including 4 on the terrorist watch list. $276,000 was paid out. All of them apparently had social security numbers, like official government IDs. This means they were inside the system. And we're not talking pennies here. 41 were collecting unemployment insurance, receiving $42,000 in benefits. 22 received federal student loans totaling $280,000. Now look, I'm not just throwing numbers around. This isn't just about the money. It's about what it represents. If people on the FBI's radar are able to slip through and tap into our benefit system, that's not just a policy oversight. That's a full-blown national security issue. And Democrats, they're just all too happy to keep obliging these illegal immigrant criminals. In fact, according to the Department of Government Efficiency, Dem states are to blame for most of the nearly $400 million in unemployment fraud over the last 4 years. Now, just let that sink in for a second. There's your money, guys. That's my money. That's small business owners, workers, people struggling during a pandemic and beyond, while the system was leaking like a sieve. And these blue states, the same states that often push for bigger government programs, more spending, more benefits, while at the same time, they're apparently failing to secure those very same programs from abuse and from fraud, all while letting illegal immigrants get away with taxpayer money as well. Seriously. Democrats are a complete mess. Now, I'm just glad there are still people like Bill Maher who are open enough to see the good in Trump. So here's a little bit of his segment about his White House dinner. Check this out. Trump signing that list of insults is just so on brand for him. Even Bill Maher commented about how surprised about how Trump laughs, including at himself. And he adds, it's not fake. Bill Maher credited Trump for being much more self-aware than he lets on in public. He said that he's taken it as a positive that this person exists because everything he's ever not liked about him was absent, at least on this night with this guy. He pointed out how he's had so many conversations with prominent people who are much less connected, people who don't look you in the eye, people who don't really listen because they just want to get to the next thing. None of that was with him. And he mostly steered the conversation to, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Now, for Bill Maher, that was mind-blowing. He said he never felt like he had to walk on eggshells around him. He was even able to admit that he walked away with nothing from the White House except hats and a very generous amount of time and a willingness to listen and accept him as a possible friend, even though he's still not MAGA, which was the whole point of the dinner. He even took a shot at what liberals are doing right now, writing the same editorial for the millionth time and making 25-hour speeches into the wind. Looking at you, Cory Booker. And hey guys, I keep getting messages from you guys, comments saying, hey Ron, I keep missing your videos. I keep missing the breaking news. Can you please make sure I get notified? So I've taken care of you guys. All you got to do is hit the link in the description down below this video or in the pinned comment and join the breaking news newsletter. That's it. Totally free. So yeah, drop a quick yes in the comments, guys. Hit the like button if you guys are all for this pro-Trump take from somebody who could only be described as an anti-Trump comedian. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you guys. Now, while Trump is opening his doors to his haters, Democrats and their protesters are still destroying Teslas left and right. One particularly disturbing instance was when an unidentified woman left a brick with a swastika on a Tesla Cybertruck that she vandalized in a predominantly Jewish area of Brooklyn, by the way. Here, watch. Honestly, it's things like this that make me think that the Democratic Party is doomed. I mean, like, what else is going to happen if your party is just filled with hate, that you're destroying others' personal property and leaving these racist bricks laying around, you know? And this incident is already the fourth attack on Tesla vehicles New York City has seen in a month period. In New York, guys, the bluest of the blue states. Not surprising when you consider that they have the likes of AOC and Jasmine Crockett egging them on. I mean, just see what the latest is on these two. So one's riding first class to a fight oligarchy rally. The other one's talking about picking cotton. Here, watch.
Democrats have a search party for a new leader, and the Democrats stepping up to fill that void show that they are in serious trouble. Far-left darling AOC, who's been, quote, fighting the oligarchy, look at this, was photographed flying first class to one of those rallies. Hypocrisy at its finest. And Democrats, up-and-coming star Jasmine Crockett just added another moment to her long list of shocking comments.
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now. Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands. You're not. We done picking cotton. We are. You can't pay us enough to find a plantation.
Well, if she's looking for attention, she got it.
The Democrats have taken a lot of beatings. They have lost their confidence. They've gone crazy. How about this new one they have? Their new star, Crockett. How about her? Is that real? Are they serious about that? That's their new star? If that's their new star, they're in serious trouble. I mean, this is Crockett. Oh, man.
Carly, well, if you look at the wall, I mean, he's right. Crockett gets 4% for those looking for a new leader.
Yes, I see that wall. And I'm sure people will say, there we go, we got it. Okay, well, first of all, speaking of Jasmine Crockett, I would love for her to make the case for illegal immigration to all the people who live on the south side of Chicago and use that rationale and see what they have to say about it when they're up in arms over how illegal immigration has impacted their life. The other thing is what Bill Maher has recently said, how he says that Donald Trump is an alpha. Democrats, when they're thinking about a leader, need an alpha. Tim Walz is not it. And he also talked about authenticity. And he said that if you're a politician, you need to lean into who you are because people can smell a phony from a mile away. That is what politically damaged Kamala Harris to the point of her election loss. And looking towards the future really could damage Gavin Newsom if he plans to run, because he says one thing and does another, from everything from the French Laundry situation to transgender women in women's sports. Democrats don't just need a leader, they also need a message. Like, if you look at this hands-off rally that took place this weekend, it was all about hating Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and DOGE. So we understand what they don't like, but what are you for? So I'm waiting for a fresh new idea. So far, I haven't seen any.
You heard her, guys. So far, no fresh ideas from Democrats, just hate, and hypothetical hate at that, from Dems like AOC and Jasmine Crockett. And what do they have to hate? DOGE? It just makes them look like they're supporting the fraud and the waste. Are they even offering any sort of viable, reasonable, common sense alternative? So really, like, what do Democrats really stand for? Because it sure does seem like they're all for waste and abuse in the government. I mean, how else would we have found out about these thousands of immigrants with criminal or terrorist records that are collecting Medicaid, unemployment, and even student loans, right? Other immigrants granted parole under the Biden administration have also had their benefits stripped by the Trump White House. In March, termination notices started being delivered to hundreds of thousands of migrants who entered the United States through a fraud-ridden parole program launched by the Biden administration. The program, CHNV, it was terminated by the Trump administration last month. I mean, they already flew in 500,000 migrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela over the past several years. Now, according to a senior DHS official, they even granted these people and their immediate family members opportunities to compete for American jobs and undercut American workers, forced career civil servants to promote the programs even when fraud was identified. And they blamed Republicans Republicans in Congress for the chaos that ensued and the crime that followed. Now, seriously, is this what Democrats really stand for? Because, hey, I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. Now, apart from these benefits for these illegal immigrant criminals, Democrat states were to blame for most of the nearly $400 million in unemployment fraud over the last 4 years. Now, this is according to the latest numbers from DOGE. After finding $382 million in fraudulent unemployment payments since 2020, DOGE identified California, New York, and Massachusetts as the primary culprits. The three Democratic-led states accounted for $305 million in improper claim payments. Not to mention, California also accounted for 68% of the benefits that were dispensed under President Joe Biden to parolees identified by federal authorities as being on the government's terrorist watch list or who had committed criminal crimes. So they were even behind the hundreds of thousands of dollars going to Medicaid, unemployment, and even student loans for these criminals. And would you believe it? California, New York, and Massachusetts all have a Democratic trifecta, meaning Democrats control the state house, Senate, and governor's office. They also have a Democratic triplex, which includes party control of the Attorney General, Secretary of State, and governorship. White House spokesperson Harrison Fields pointed out recently that there's a reason for the mass exodus for Democrat-run states that have mismanaged their economies and driven residents to the nearest Republican-led state. High taxes, poor stewardship of taxpayer dollars, and progressive policies continue to yield negative results, which is why Americans overwhelmingly support the work of DOGE. And now DOGE is reporting that since 2020, hundreds of millions of fraudulent unemployment benefits went to tens of thousands of recipients listed as over 115 years old, between the ages of 1 and 5, or even with birth dates that haven't even occurred yet. So people are getting benefits even though they haven't even been born yet? Yeah, I know. And apparently a big chunk of this is happening in blue states. Now, as Labor Department Secretary Lori Chavez-DeRemer explained, this is another incredible discovery by the DOGE team, finding nearly $400 million in fraudulent unemployment payments. They said that the Labor Department is committed to recovering Americans' stolen taxpayer dollars and that they will catch these thieves and keep working to root out egregious fraud. Because DOGE also found that it was routine under the Biden administration to admit immigrants into the country with minimal screening and, as a result, led to more than 6,000 people either with criminal records or flagged on the FBI terror watch list entering the country. So this is what happens when ideology outweighs responsibility. These states have pushed for massive social programs, big safety nets, which in theory, it sounds great. But here's the reality. When you scale up like that without tight oversight, you don't just create room for fraud. You practically roll out the red carpet for it. These are governments, entire states that have become so bloated, so ideologically driven that they've stopped asking the most basic questions. Who's getting paid? Do they even exist? Should they be here in the first place? And yes, we are also seeing that many of the recipients of these fraudulent benefits were on terror watch lists or had serious criminal records. These weren't just random people gaming the systems. These were known threats. So not only did we hand them cash in some cases, we may have funded the next crime. So think about how insane that is. This all traces back to one word: accountability, or the lack thereof. Why do states like California keep showing up at the top of these lists like this? Because when one party has full control, House, Senate, Governor, Attorney General, Secretary of State, there's no real opposition there. There's no pushback. There's no checks and balances. So you just get massive budgets, high taxes, big promises, and no results. Or worse, you get disastrous results. And here's the real kicker. They just keep asking for more money, more control, more programs, when they can't even manage what they've already got. So yeah, the warning sign is definitely flashing red, you guys. When the government becomes too big, too ideological, and too insulated from consequences, this is the mess you get. Thank goodness the American people woke up to it in time, and President Trump came in when he did. You know what I mean, guys? Drop a quick yes in the comments down below. Let me know if I'm making sense to you guys. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Definitely subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys next time.